It's been a long time coming, but Warner Brothers is finally pushing ahead with I Am Legend 2. More than 15 years have passed since the original movie hit theaters, and while the wait has been huge, details about the sequel are still a little thin. That first movie, starring Will Smith and directed by Francis Lawrence, wasn't just a hit, it became one of the most memorable sci-fi thrillers of the 2000s. Based on Richard Matheson's classic novel, the story blended action, horror, and big-budget spectacle in a way that stood out from the other blockbusters of the era. On top of that, it's still considered one of the high points of Will Smith's career because it showed how he could balance blockbuster appeal with a really emotional, layered performance. Ever since its success, people have been wondering if a sequel would ever actually happen. It seemed obvious at first because of how popular the film was, but there was always one big problem. Will Smith's character, Robert Neville, didn't survive the original ending. He sacrificed himself in the theatrical version to protect Anna and Ethan, which was a powerful conclusion, but also made a sequel pretty tricky. A bunch of ideas floated around over the years, including the possibility of a prequel, but nothing ever got off the ground. Finally, after years of speculation, Warner Brothers gave the green light to an official sequel. And not only is Will Smith back, but Michael B. Jordan is joining the cast too, which makes the whole project feel like a major event. Considering Smith doesn't usually return for sequels, his comeback says a lot about how interesting the story must be. So far, what's gotten fans most curious is how exactly they're handling the story this time. After all, bringing back Neville is no small task because of the way things ended before. The big news, which Smith himself has confirmed, is that I Am Legend 2 won't be following the theatrical ending at all. Instead, it's using the alternate ending that was closer to Matheson's original book. In that version, Neville survives, and the focus shifts to a much deeper idea. The infected aren't mindless killers, but a new kind of society with their own rules. That twist not only gives Neville a path to return, but also opens the door for a sequel that explores completely new territory. Will Smith also shared a few hints about Michael B. Jordan's role. Some people guessed Jordan might play Neville's son, but Smith quickly shut that down. Instead, Jordan is set to play the leader of a settlement in Connecticut. That's pretty much all the detail we have for now, but it's already enough to spark speculation about how his character will interact with Neville. Smith was also careful in how he phrased things, saying Jordan currently is the leader, which suggests the script is still being developed and could shift as things move forward. To rewind for a moment, the official announcement about I Am Legend 2 came on March 4th, 2022. It was confirmed that Warner Brothers was actively developing the sequel, and even better, Akiva Goldsman, the screenwriter from the original, was back to write the new script. This is actually pretty encouraging because Goldsman understands the tone and themes that made the first film so effective. While Francis Lawrence directed the first movie, nobody has been confirmed to direct the sequel yet, which leaves that role wide open. As of right now, the project is still in pre-production. That basically means it's stuck in the stage where ideas, scripts, and plans are all being hammered out, but cameras haven't started rolling. Some people might call this production hell, since the sequel has been talked about for over a decade without moving forward. But considering Smith and Jordan are officially attached, it seems more like the project is finally gaining momentum rather than stuck. Still, with the script unfinished, there's no release date on the calendar yet. Once everything is locked in, though, it's safe to assume Warner Brothers will want to move quickly because having two big stars on board is a huge asset. Now, let's talk more about the cast. What we know for sure is that Will Smith is back as Robert Neville, which in itself is a big deal because his performance was the heart of the original movie. Adding Michael B. Jordan into the mix only makes things more exciting, since he's proven himself as one of Hollywood's most versatile stars, from Creed to Black Panther. While Jordan's character isn't fully revealed yet, him being described as the head of a survivor settlement sets up an interesting contrast with Neville, who was completely isolated in the first movie. There's also been talk of Alice Braga returning as Anna, since she's mentioned interest in reprising her role, though nothing has been officially confirmed yet. Apart from that, no other names have been attached, so the rest of the cast will probably be announced later when production gets closer. The really intriguing part, though, is the story direction. Screenwriter Akiva Goldsman has confirmed that the sequel will take place decades after the events of the first movie. By using the alternate ending instead of the theatrical one, the sequel has room to expand on a much more nuanced theme. In that ending, Neville realizes that the infected creatures aren't simply monsters, they're intelligent beings trying to rescue one of their own, which flips the whole perspective. From their point of view, Neville was the monster because he was experimenting on them. That revelation dramatically changes what I Am Legend means, and the sequel has the opportunity to really dive into that idea. Goldsman even admitted that The Last of Us was a big inspiration for this direction. He's interested in showing what a world looks like decades after humanity's collapse, when nature has fully reclaimed cities and survivors are trying to rebuild. That gives the sequel a chance to explore post-apocalyptic life from a fresh angle. And since the story will once again be set in New York City, it can contrast the ruins of a once bustling metropolis with how survivors carve out their lives in the middle of it all. What makes this update so promising is that it's much closer to Matheson's original novel. The book was never really about zombies in the traditional sense, it was about survival, morality, and what happens when the definition of normal society shifts. By leaning into that, the sequel can explore ideas about how the infected creatures form their own social structures and what it means for humans to interact with them. That's a bunch of deep, thought-provoking themes that could elevate I Am Legend 2 beyond just another monster movie. It also helps that Will Smith's Neville is such a complex character to bring back. Because he survived in the alternate ending, the sequel can show how his worldview has changed after realizing he wasn't necessarily the hero he thought he was. Pairing him with Michael B. Jordan's settlement leader sets up an interesting dynamic too. On one hand, Neville represents the old world and its mistakes, while Jordan's character symbolizes the attempt to rebuild something new. How those two characters clash or collaborate could end up being the heart of the movie. Even though production hasn't started, all these details paint a picture of a sequel that has the potential to be both thrilling and meaningful. Of course, it's still early, so a lot can change. Scripts evolve, characters get reimagined, and even story direction can shift once filming starts. But with Smith and Jordan both attached, and Goldsman steering the script. And that's that for today's video. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next one.